Hey, so I figured I'd start doing some actually mic'd demos so I can talk about some of the features that I'm adding in detail, especially now that features are starting to come out more frequently as I've kind of gotten some of the complicated bits that aren't visible out of the way. Now there's like more things coming out that people can actually see and use. So I'm going to start doing more of these types of videos. And I'm just going to go over all the features that I've added. So the first one that I've added is campaign invites, which is pretty necessary part of the app. You have to be able to invite your friends to play with you, otherwise there's not really any point. So you can create a campaign like so. It takes a few seconds, but then you can send an invite to a friend. So here, test2 at test.com is my friend, who is me. And then if we just log out here and log in as test2, and ignore that message, you can accept an invite. And then here you'll see these are joined campaigns that you're a part of. So you can invite other people to them. You can go into the campaign or you can leave the campaign. So that's what you can do with them right now. It takes a second on the first time it loads as it caches the various, the images and different bits of information that you need to run the game. But the second time it will be faster because it'll all be cached in your browser's database. So yeah, I added a toolbar with an FPS counter, mostly for me, for debugging. I also added, so I have a cursor tool, which was kind of there by default, but now it's its own, has its own button. A draw tool, and a measuring tool, a rolling tool, and then this is still a work in progress, but it's going to let you change the layer that you're working with so that you can add tokens or lines or anything else on different layers. So yeah, the first one, the cursor tool, it lets you drag stuff around the map. It's basically its job, and select tokens. So you can see that when you select a token, the token's already attached to a character, and the character sheet is over here. And this is my debug character, so it has literally every spell in the game. So you can see that all here. And I'm going to rework the way this is displayed, but for now, this works. So yeah, that's what the cursor tool does. You can also delete these if you like. I won't, but you can. You can also draw stuff. So you can draw lines. You can also draw rectangles, and you can also draw ellipses or circles. And then recently I added, you can change the stroke, so you can make them thinner, you can make them thicker, and you can also change the color, whatever you like. You've got a little slider here, you can adjust it. Yeah, so that's fun. I also added a measuring tool. So in tabletop games, it's often it's common for you to want to know what the distance is to something, so that if you're trying to hit it with a spell or something, you know how far away it is. So if this guy, I wanted to hit this guy, he has to know how far away he is. So I created this little distance tool, which I should probably add to the top layer so it's not under stuff. But anyway, you can do it. Yeah. And I also added a rolling tool, so you can, it brings up this table here. If you've used Roll20, this will look somewhat familiar. I'm going to flesh it out later, but for now, it just gives you these basics, your various different types of die, and you can roll 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 of those types of dice. So, and if you click on one, then it shows you down here what the result was. So 5 100-sided die were rolled, and these were the numbers that came up, and this is the sum of all the numbers, if that's important to you. And other than that, I've also added a feature that lets you snap the camera back, because most of the time people are probably going to want to be looking at it kind of like this. So if you just middle mouse click, then it just moves the camera back like that. So both it makes the angles, sets them back to 0, both pitch and yaw. So left and right, it'll adjust it like back to this way, and then like up and down, it'll change it back down to like this. So yeah, that's pretty much it for what I've done in the last couple weeks. There's some other features that I've already implemented that I never talked about. Maybe I'll do a dive into that later, but for now this covers everything. So yeah, have a good one.